This hour, our guest is Women Representative, Baringo County, Florence Jematiah Sergon. Mweshimiwa, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I say it again. Edna did magic. That you are seated in the hot seat this morning.
Yes,
it's fantastic.
In person. Not a representative.
Having been looked for like gold.
Oh, I'm telling you. Sorry.
It needed to happen. It needed to happen. So it's great to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've been yearning to be in Spice for the longest. I don't know where people have been. I mean, Edna. And I went to my messages. Actually, I realized it's been looking for me a whole year.
Imagine a year. A year. The woman has been looking for you for a year. We have to say something about Edna's resilience, I must say. We can't put that one to bed. So, look, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And it's really good to have you because, obviously, when it comes to the situation in Baringo, as with other parts of the country, important to discuss and look at what local leaders and local representation are doing about that. Let's welcome you properly to the Situation Room this morning, even as you sit in the hot seat. And City has a proverb from DR Congo.
Yes, proverbs for the whole of this week ending tomorrow from DRC.
Yep.
You inherit from the dead and not the sick.
From the dead?
Not the sick.
Not the sick. What do you make of that?
Okay. Wisdom or something.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? How does it?
They
resonate?
say the richest place is in the grave. So where people will get, we inherit our, people who died get a lot of proverbs from them. Inspiration from them. We always go back to those who.
Our forebears, people who are no longer there physically.
Yes.
But whatever it is that they left us with.
So we quote them so much in what they used to do and give examples.
Well, isn't that an interesting perspective?
I know. It's interesting because different, very fresh. Yeah. Indeed. It's actually the grave where you find the greatest wealth.
Yes. So we inherit from them.
We inherit from them.
And we pick them.
Well, there's a lot going on in Baringo.
Yes.
The county itself, but then also borders of the county, periphery, and unfortunately, when we hear Baringo, it has always almost become synonymous with this insecurity. Before we get into, who's said what, who has not, what interventions have taken place, what is the situation on the ground today? We know there have been flare-ups. There were scares in October when KCPE was being written and we were asking questions, how are children going to sit these exams when they're not even sure if they can leave their homes because of the insecurity situation? So where are we today, Mweshimiwa?
Thank you so much. Once again, I want to say I'm happy to be in the hot seat. Baringo is also quite hot. But we thank God, the situation now is relatively calm, but unpredictable. So we've come from far. We've come from so insecure times where you're not very sure whether you can wake up tomorrow and you're okay. And banditry has been a real menace in Baringo. But not only Baringo, what gives Baringo the banditry name is because it is the epicenter of the banditry. Because we have a very beautiful tribe called the Pokots who resides in Baringo, and they attack, quote unquote, not all of them, of course, the surroundings. So everyone who lives within that constituency called Tiati is a complainant. And you realize for the longest, during the time of Kenyatta, Moi's time, the longest time, and Moi, you remember, comes from Baringo too. We have Kibaki, we have Uhuru Kenyatta, and now we have Ruto. And I think the more it happens and the more time goes, is the awareness that the people get about this banditry thing. It started as a traditional way of life. Pastoralists generally, are cows or cattle keepers, and they use it as a means of survival, means of day-to-day life, like economy. But they also use it in a traditional way, where when your son or daughter gets married, we use that as dowry. So the biggest part is it is used as a pricing. The highest dowry.
Yeah.
Numbers of cows. My daughter gets, or I get it from my daughter, is what gives me the name into society. So it's a long thing. I grew up knowing that this thing was a normal thing. I could go, Morani from these sides, go raid there, we bring home, tomorrow they wake up, they go do that. But it has been commercialized in a way, and it's now becoming a problem because killing is involved. Those days never used to kill. It used to be tactical. You wait when your cows are in the river, probably you go and, scare, take a bit. But now, I think because of the economy also, things change. And those people who didn't need it for that purpose now went for it because of money. And money is is a devil. Now it became a real commercial problem.
Yeah.
And this one escalated so much during Kibaki's regime. And then it picked up also throughout Presidents Uhuru and Weia. We're still here. Yes. So there's a whole community like the Tugens who borders Tiati. They have been moved almost 60 kilometers inside. And there's no one lives in that area. So almost 20,000 people have been moved.
To where?
You're being attacked.
Have they moved because of the violence?
Yeah,
the
bandits come, attack your village. Of course, they steal your cows, they kill, people around the village, and definitely you'll have to go away or
so you
migrate.
Simply move away from this danger.
Yes, you move from the danger, and then apparently these people live in your homes.
Okay, so
forced migration due to conflict.
Forced migration, exactly.
Usually, in an area, doesn't matter how vast it is.
Yep.
That if there is a repeat of such banditry, because it's been repetitive over years.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
People know who the bandits are.
Yeah, exactly.
Or who controls them.
Exactly.
Who are they?
Who are they? Okay.
Can we start with where do they come from? Because there is a story that they are Pokot.
Yep.
You talk to people from Bokot, they say, no, some of these bandits.
They're not us.
They're not saying it.
They're not saying it's not them,
bandits,
but they're saying not all of them is us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So, okay. I started by saying Baringo is synonymous by the name banditry because it is the epicenter. This is a county that has the Pokots living. We know we have the West Pokot County, which is predominantly West Pokots. And then we have the Baringo, which has a small sizable Pokots, which are mainly in Tiati. And they also border West Pokot. They border Turkana, they border Samburu, Laikipia, and now mainly the Tugen parts of Baringo.
So this is an entire ecosystem.
Yes.
That pastoralists inhabit.
Exactly. It's a whole valley. It's one of the best places you can ever be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Best.
It's so good. It is.
It's a melting pot of cultures, as you're trying to say. Okay.
And if you fly over, for instance, in that area of the valley, it has the best topical.
It is beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
Yes, it is.
The vastness, the greening along the rivers and all those kind of things. So the space is so big. So, and that is why it is conducive for pastoralists. So, in the initial times, on all days, we used to be brothers, big brothers, sisters everywhere. I can graze all the way from Elgeyo Marakwet down to almost Samburu. and Turkanas from the upper north come all the way towards Baringo to a place called Kapedo, because that's where they have, and all the way to the border of Kenya, Uganda.
Yeah.
Because that is the border.
So it's a beautiful place.
It's a very nice
mix of cultures.
Exactly.
But the banditry still happens. And my question again was, who are these people?
The beneficiaries of bandits are the people who control the markets. The people who realize that there is a what do you call? They use a situation like the freeness of the community. You have cows, you have probably having your issues, and then there's always some few people who will always decide we can steal these cows, and it's such as a joke. And then you look for markets, and markets are always available, because these are money, ready money. If I steal 100 cows, I sell it for probably each 50 or 30, and one off I get my money. So it is so there are many politicians are involved. Yes, we also have business people probably who are involved. The owners of the guns, people want to sell their guns, because through the guns is when you are now able to, scare the community, kill the people, and take their wealth. So it is a whole bouquet of.
You know why we Julie want to ask a question? What did you ask?
I actually wanted to ask.
Yes, Julie.
A question around what you have responded to.
Yes.
And it seems as though it's a well-designed ecosystem, because when you steal 100 cows,
you are
likely to see 100 cows in movement,
or even 3 left,
or even 3.
Yeah,
even one.
You know how difficult it is to move one cow.
Hide one cow.
Yes.
To hide that nobody will see it.
Exactly. So where is the security intelligence? Where are the people who are manning the various roadblocks that are there?
Yes.
Even where there are witnesses, simple witnesses who say that I saw cows moving, because it feels as though all this is happening, yet it's such a huge movable item that people should be able to say, we can see them, and we know where they have gone, and we know who was in charge of the trade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's be very candid here. I want to speak as a politician, and I also want to speak as a victim of bandits, because I come from the Tugen parts, and I also want to speak as the leader of Baringo. Before I became a leader of Baringo, or the woman of Baringo, I came face to face to the wrath of bandits, because, as you say, importantly, these are the sides of the Tugens and the El Chamus. Effect came in 2002, 2005, thereabouts. We used to live in Baringo without this menace, but you used to hear it from the Turkana versus the Pokots and the Elgeyo and those. So this thing started, and it became so intensive because it turned out to be a business. At that time, Honorable Kamama was a member of Parliament, TRT. And of course, when I'm a member of Parliament, I know my surrounding. I know my area. I know my people. Even now, as a member of Parliament, Baringo County, I know people in Baringo County. I know who are these. So the community surrounding confronted him and told him, you are the ones who is funding this thing. And we realized that it was an orchestrated behavior within the community, because it was allowed in the community. I go raid, kill people, bring these cows to the community. People celebrate
them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when young men go bring raid and bring the cows to the village, we celebrate. There are a lot of allulations. Women enjoy. I mean, my son has conquered and all those that kind of thing. And then, of course, the young men get opportunity to marry more women because you have cows. And then it is celebrated within the community. So that is a behavior that has been condoned there. And now you have, these are the people who are business-minded, who are ready to sell these cows and get money. So And it is the intelligence apparatus are giving us a lot of information, and we used to give all those information those days, that now we have business people, not only within the community, but probably within the neighboring community, Nairobi, for instance, and also security apparatus. Because as you say, there's no way I can move 100 cows and it get lost. So there must be lorries involved at vantage points where you drive these cows and, they are loaded in probably vehicles and driven away. There are also the people, markets, around there, like in Samburu, we have very big market called Sibili, where they sell cows, or auctions all the time, probably once or twice a week. So it became a ripe business for people, and they use the community, because when the community get money, it's easy for you to hide and do more. It become enticing. So you push this community, those who you are raiding, and we ended up these bandits ended up raiding everyone within their surrounding. So you push people, and as they push, they live there. So you move, and then they graze the cows right from your village, and then they will be controlling that kind of thing. So poverty and everything become a whole problem.
So you're saying that it's easy to then be able to come and manipulate people in the community and give them a little bit of money so that they can allow for the bandits to essentially, quote unquote, allow the banditry to thrive. They come, they take cattle, they move it because they've received something in their pocket. Is that what you're saying is the business that's going on?
It is not like they, bandits are like thieves.
They are thieves.
They are thieves, yeah.
They're just very violent thieves, but they're thieves.
These are violent thieves.
Yeah.
But of course, these are thieves who are coming from a community. I mean, even if I live in Nairobi, yeah, when there's a thief within us, we'll always know there's a thief here.
But I mean, if you look at what happens, I mean, and I'm just going to interject. Look at what happens when, for example, police are going after somebody who they know operates in a particular area. Who do they go to talk to? They talk to the people in the area, and the people know. Yes, we know that this is the son of or the daughter of XXX who does this, which is why my initial question came that the people of the community must know.
They know
who these individuals are.
Even the chiefs know. And they actually, to some extent, have given out those names. But the problem is, when when they, like the informers of governments, give names, and they are not arrested.
Why?
That's the problem. They are not arrested. And actually, the bandits in that region has never been arrested. Because I think the complaint is, and I asked several times, when you arrest them, because some of them can be arrested, have been arrested,
and then they let go of.
Exactly, because the people, there are no evidences, because they always care, even the community.
But we've had situations where I remember once we read in the paper how some were arrested, the other members of the gang came.
That was in Elgeyo Marakwet.
And it was not at night.
Daytime.
During the day.
Broad day.
They were actually in the hospital.
Yes.
They came to pick their
leader from the hospital.
The hospital. So, this thing is an entrenched problem. And it is true, the members of the society know most of them. And what governments today have done is to eliminate them through the same system by empowering the community through NPRs. These are members of the society that have been empowered by, given guns and bullets.
Are they trained?
Yes, trained and given some stipends by government, and it's controlled through the RDUs and the security apparatus that works within the community. We have RDUs camps in our areas, so those are the ones that picks and helps these police and GSUs when they go and identify these people.
So when they identify them, what do they do?
Many times they kill
the bandits.
Yeah,
but then others will rise up.
That is it. So the thing is like just like drug dealing with drugs. Because when you go for the peddlers, they'll always be recruited.
Who, first of all, is in the position of making decisions as to who to deploy and what is that needs to be done? You see, if you look at the anatomy of corruption or impunity in this country, it's where I would start if I want to understand the situation, because you're not telling me that the banditry we read of can exist in these parts of the country and it continues unabated all this time. And yet, if you are to look at something as simple and something we've dealt with as terrorism with Al-Shabaab, and it is clear they've been contained.
Yep.
And that is a far more lethal group. These ones aren't stealing cattle. These people come to kill people. That is their motive. They're not coming to take your cattle. They want to kill. They want to decimate. They want to destroy things. And we've contained it. So how did we do that? What is it that we've been doing? And then you're telling me a group of people who clearly come from a community, and if they do, they must be known within the community, and you're telling me none get arrested. This problem, Uganda had a similar problem with the Pokot on their side.
Yes.
Similar.
Yes.
And remember, when Idi Amin left, many of his soldiers moved to that area. So these people were even better armed than our own people on this side.
Even now, they're still armed.
Yes.
Better
but
armed.
But that thing, do you hear even a squeak? No. Because that government wanted a solution, and they came and sought and thought, and they provided the solution.
Thank you. Yes. And that is where we are in this government today. You know, as I told you, some of us grew knowing this banditry existed. But there was the direct attacking of the bandits through killing and all those kind of things. And then we realized marginalization was a big problem too. Yes. You know why? It is easy to run away from taking responsibility of people who they seem like they don't respond to what you want, like when they always disobey the laws and all those kind of things. These bandits, most of them, there is a whole chunk of areas in those areas that has people with no IDs. There are no administrations.
Education?
There is zero education. And not because the government don't want to help them. It's because that community is so ingrained with their traditions. They believe so much in their traditions. They don't care about education. But the few who have gone to school are so good in class, and they are very good citizens, of course. So, for the longest, just like I'm saying, they had not been, during Moi's time and probably Uru's and Kibaki, very minimal development in that area. And you know, people grow and they breed every day. So there are a lot of people who have not gone to school. Like in, for instance, in Tiati, this is a children thing, it's called UNICEF. Give me a statistic that over 30,000 children are not going to school. That is a place that has the highest number of teenage pregnancies.
Is it because there are no schools, or because the people refuse to attend the schools that exist?
It is two ways.
Okay.
No infrastructures in those areas, like schools. And their community also don't believe in going to schools. So those days, Mo used to beat people. I mean, using the chiefs and all this. But the constitution today cannot allow you to go and, round up children and take them to school by force. So the community enjoys that illiteracy level. And now the leaders take advantage of them to manipulate them.
I'm curious about that, because ideally, well, I'm not saying you can't force them, but ideally the best interest of the child can be used as a principle to allow you to make sure that children go to school. But then also the appetite for them to want to go to school, yet they're seeing their seniors not in school, and profiteering will not be there because they don't need. And
this banditry thing is a real ingredient for them, because I go and steal, get money or get wealth, and I go and marry. I mean, it's a free life for them.
Why do you need to go to school?
Why do I need to go to school? I still eat, To them, it is a secondary. But unless there's a need for them or a push for them through government of the day to force them to go to school, so that they understand there's another life beyond their village lives. You see, they do a lot of traditional songs. When you listen to their folk songs, and it is an enjoyment. It's just like going to clubs, and you know, people go there and they get lost. It's because it's their lives. But what started with President Uhuru started doing is to start identifying areas that they can start pick and do schools. But unfortunately, again, and I want to say it's leadership, because we have CDFs, for instance, you know, we have infrastructural money that goes to counties and constituencies. But then these leaders of these places don't empower them, and they don't, you know, as you say, you know, politics is a very weird thing. It is, how can I control more? How can I be in charge? And when you get situations where you have many people who have not gone to school and literacy levels are very down, it is a easy ride. It's easy to manipulate. Exactly. To do what you want. You think for them and do for them. You can even decide to do whatever thing that you want. And that is where the government of William Ruto decided, for the first time, we want to use more this approach of development at the expense of killing, because many people have been killed, by the way. The revenge is even more, it is more worse than when you are really trying to seize the cows. Because even if a police or these police units go and, you know, they do the raids, alafu wanachukua ng'ombe, they will come for that community 3 or 4 times harder. So it becomes more painful, because even if the police is trying to recover these cows, they might not recover all of them. But when they come for another attack, they will attack this community so badly that it leaves the community so devastated. So what is happening now is we are opening security roads, and KDF are building schools now. Building schools and dispensaries. So they have started with the Tiati area, yes, which is now opening. Almost 4 schools are being built. It's interesting that you say that, because at some point, a couple of years ago, the MP for Tiati actually did have a conversation with us talking about the fact that ECD schools don't exist. Yes. But they had to look for them. Yes. You had to look to find one. So that some are being built, because we need to make the connection, Shimiwa, haven't we? Yeah. If we're saying that there is a breeding ground for this banditry that has put this community in years of turmoil, yes, and the reason why this thrives is because education at a loss. Yes. People are not, really interested. So then it is clear to me what one of the solutions should be. That schools, in terms of infrastructure, need to be established, number one, and then there needs to be a push, not just from the national level, because we have down to the granular representation of leadership, members of county assemblies, members of parliament, whether it's your woman rep, whether it is your constituency representative, even chiefs, ngaos, who need to insist that let's get up and go, because it looks to me that it is an inroad to a solution for this thing. Exactly. Because it's been there for decades. It's not something that just crept out of nowhere. Exactly. It's been there for decades. So then where is the push? Do we see the push? Where is the push to then insist that this basic thing is established, and it is actually that, look, we're not saying round people up like cattle and beat them up and tell them to go to school, but there's got to be something, advocacy, awareness, campaigns, whereby it becomes a thing, mantra. It is come and go to school. Yes, it is happening now. We are actually using the professionals, those who are learned in those areas, and we are amalgamating all tribes, the Tugans, the Pokots, the Turkanas, the Elgeyo Marakwets, all of us who originally come from that area must take the responsibility to go and talk to these people. Of course, the biggest problem now, for instance, is we are closed. The schools are closed. Yes. Do you know this is a time that bandits is happening because the children, most of them are home, and those are the little ones, because these people grew with guns. So this is the biggest problem is sometimes it is easier to say we can do it than to do, unless and until you are there, and then we realize you can actually kill the whole generation. Another thing that we have decided is we have told the government, And I know this probably is going to be a big uproar in the future. Through KDF, as they build these schools, they should take a generation, probably 10 years or 15 years down. Please, build these schools, fence them, put these children in boarding school for at least 3 years. You know why? It minimizes the interaction with the society. Because every time they go out, like for them when they go for circumcision, they can go for a whole year.
What do you mean?
Yes.
Go for circumcision for a year?
They leave school,
I don't understand.
go into the
It is important than school.
But circumcision is
It's around a month or two.
yeah.
But
So are we talking about processes in and around?
yes,
Or
so
are
the
we talking
society,
about-
and you know we have, you know, there are this societal old men who believe that we are in charge. I mean, because government are not there, they are not chiefs, and if you know the way we are employ our chiefs now, at you have to go to school from 4 to you at some sick. There, those areas. The identification of a real leader is you must have many wives. You know? Yes. You must be old enough and you must have the charisma in that area. And they have their own way of identifying who is the
Who
best
is
leader.
charismatic
Yes.
or not?
So
okay.
if you are a chief and you I mean you come from our centers there and
You'll be talking to yourself.
You will be talking to yourself. Actually, no one will even get to listen to you.
Do we then need to, how do you put it, have a complete shift in how we think
Exactly.
and how we address this issue? Because I feel like not only do we need the leaders and the professionals who have already gotten the education to come and speak to the younger people, but we also need to appreciate that community leaders and people of distinction and value in the community have a sway. And
Exactly.
and if they continue holding dear beliefs that are detrimental,
They even believe in sorcery. You know them, they don't go to church. They have no churches there.
Mosques?
Yes. There are no mosques, there's no churches, there's nothing.
They are
Them, they
traditional.
believe they are traditions. Yes.
But you know, this is a lovely discussion. The reason why it is because when we talk about pastoral communities,
Yes.
what you're saying is true of the Samburu, it's true of the Turkana.
Turkanas?
You go to Laikipia, where there's
Yes.
Samburu, same.
Yes.
Both county of Samburu.
Yes.
Again, same things. You'll find indicators,
Yeah.
schools, traditions, all those things. But we have a community in this country who are also pastoralists who have changed.
Yeah.
The Somali community.
Yes.
Go back 20 years, you could be saying the same story.
Exactly.
But that's not the story now.
Yeah.
You actually have a model that you can look at and study.
Thank you.
They have evolved, and if someone were to tell you this is a pastoralist community, you say, no, these are business people. There are some of them who are pastoralists, but they're business people. What did they do? Because they also have traditions.
Yes.
They also listen to their elders.
And they still marry more.
Yeah, they most certainly do.
Their religions is, yes.
You would think it's a competition.
Yes.
Okay? So you cannot say that they've changed.
Yeah.
But they build schools,
Yes.
children go to school, and they want to make sure that they get the best education.
Exactly.
Okay? And the natural resources that they have, one could argue where they come from, is even less than the natural resources that are in the regions that we're
Exactly.
talking about now.
Exactly. Exactly.
so how then do we strike that balance whereby you hold dear your traditions,
Exactly.
but at the same time you allow for a shift?
Now, the change agents are those traditional leaders.
Yes.
Not the leaders whom
No,
the
who have gone
government
to school.
think should be the leaders, or those who have gone to school think should be the leaders. You work to bring change to a community. You must understand how it is they go about their business and allow that change to fit in with the way they do their things.
Exactly.
But you can't, it's not an implant.
You can't implant, like me,
it will not
if
work.
I go to that community and speak to them, they can't even listen to me.
Why?
I am their leader, yes.
Because you're a woman.
Yeah, I'm a woman, one. Two, they don't, they even wonder why, who chose that? Who chose this one?
Who is she?
Who is she?
Okay. So who would they listen to?
They listen to
One of their
men
own.
and most of them. And for now, we have pushed it to some levels where the leaders, elected leaders from that area, probably, for instance, Honorable Kamket, we have told him he has to take that mantle because he's the goodness about that community again, once you are a leader...
Kamket is listened to.
Yes, he's listened to very well, because one thing I like about that community, or our communities, is once you are elevated, they take you up and they appreciate you. So leaders from that community are the key ingredients and the real solution that is going to help us. And we are, for the longest, we can decide to whine and say, no, we don't care about these people, they are bad people. But this is a problem that is never going to end because we are complaining. So we have also bite our bullet and tell our community, we have been crying for long. Can we have some little time to listen to how we can sort out this problem from the community? And you have very rightfully put it. We have gone now to talk to Wazes to even allow their girls not to be cut, because immediately they're cut, 13 years.
Their wives.
Their wives. And they are married by very old people. Your age and the rest.
I knew you were going to go there.
and it is a celebration. It is so easy to accuse them because we are here sitting in the city.
Sure. Yeah.
But unless you are there, and you find these people have no problem, actually. It is you who have a problem. Yes.
So okay? So even this security issue that we're all shouting everywhere, making noise, it's not an issue.
It's not an issue in that community.
Yeah. For those who unfortunately
being
are
attacked,
victims,
yes,
it of course
it's becoming a problem, and it's now becoming a problem, and it's also becoming a big problem to all of us.
Yeah,
we are taxpayers, so you end up using a lot of money, taking police to that area. Wasting a lot of resources.
So what I hear you saying essentially is that all of these security operations, we hear CS is flying everywhere. We hear that army is being deployed. We hear that KDF is going to be put within a 10-kilometer radius, 2x2 kind of thing. It actually then is futile. Because
it can be futile
because they don't have an understanding of the problem. Okay.
Yes. So they think they do, though. This is a problem.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then they think, I was one of them, by the way. I was arrested at some point because I told people we are going to buy guns to sort out this problem.
In fact, you were arrested because you suggested, and can you imagine me telling you what you said? Anyway, but you said that since you're not going to come in and do it the way we understand it, then allow us to be armed.
Exactly.
So that we can take care of the situation.
I told the government, if you are not able to do it, let's do it. And it was going to, and it's the same thing that is actually happening now, because the government did not exactly did what I said, but they helped the community to harm themselves through organized NPR, and we are actually doing it. But do you know, as we do that, we also give an alternative. We are doing farming now. We are farming. We are doing beekeeping. Because the bandits were terrorizing everyone, dropping all those our beehives. We had a small factory there. Wakuja wakabomoa. The boreholes that are built by government, they stacked stones there. So you have to migrate. But now we are coming back with our NPR on both sides. Even the Pokos, because we are also reformed bandits and people of the community who have reformed. Yes. We also need to give them NPR so that they can help when a situation like this happens. We are able to coordinate, because we still have a lot of illegal arms and guns in the hands of the bandits.
I was actually about to ask that, because everyone is getting armed.
Yes.
We then have a situation where there is the proliferation of small arms and weapons.
Yes.
So how then do we ensure that everyone who is armed is accountable? Because at that point in time,
both these they were probably the politicians when we were asking for votes those days. So but this is now becoming against them.
But did you buy any guns yourself?
I would advise you not to answer the question on air.
Of course I can't.
No, she opened that door.
Who are we but to
why? Exactly. And we are in a hot seat.
Yes.
We are in a hot seat.
But we can be honest here, because look, we must be honest.
Because
you've talked about a community whereby individuals who've not were uneducated even at the basic level, and they
can access
stealing. Guns,
and
not somehow you can access an
guns
AK-47
and not a pen and a book,
which is 96,000 shillings. 96,000 shillings for one.
Yes.
So
And
the
they
business
haven't
of
gone to what the
conflict
bullet
is not
costs.
Exactly.
yes. The business of conflict is not
and
cheap.
you know
So
me,
where
I
are they getting it
am
from?
frank, and I've told them several times. If you listen to my clips all the time by their own security, I said this: there is no way I can open up a kiosk selling bread, and I don't sell my bread, and I still open this kiosk. So someone must be buying this bread every day for me to be sustainable. So this is an activity that happens because someone is sustaining it. And unless you have of a higher stake in the society for you to be able to control this thing.
And the government cannot say they don't know.
They don't know. The government knows.
They know.
The government knows.
But Mheshimiwa, allow me to ask, now that we know what we know and you have clearly explained the situation very well, is it that people are not hearing from the elected leaders of that place in terms of even formulation of their own strategy? Because I would imagine that KDF ought to listen to you. Yeah. I would imagine that the Ministry of Interior, whilst planning their deployment, ought to listen to you and other elected leaders from that area so that the plan that they have aligns with the realities on the ground.
We have had meetings, not once, not twice, several meetings, from the president down to everyone.
So where is the challenge?
The challenge is what Sidia said. You have to understand the society. The traditions are let me tell you, it is the way you are brought up. No, I cannot just come and impose today that you can't do this. It is a gradual, it's a painful process, but it must be done. Just like the way the warriors and the Somalis, they started by massacre in the Wagalas and the rest. Those people used to do everything. They are the only people in the whole world, in the whole Kenya, that can make their own bomb from their sitting in their villages. But today they are reorganizing themselves. But it is because of the efforts. By the way, there's a lot of infrastructure that has gone to the northern Kenya. Yeah. We have the roads. There never used to be roads. There's an open road from here all the way to Moyale, all the way to Ethiopia. The same thing should happen to Kerio valleys and the rest. We need a road. The Lapsed road that was suggested should go all the way to Nadapal and all the way to South Sudan, because it's an entry. That is where, so that we don't have these panya routes that people use to sneak in things and here and. But when we open up, it will take us less than 10 years. But the more we buy time and say this is a community. I have been a very tough critic of this, but until I went to the ground, I realized it's either I entertain this problem by speaking about it all the time and crying about it or whining, or I decide we have to sort it out. And the best way to sort out is every human being has extremes. You can be so good and can be so bad at the same time. But unless the government picks the good parts, because not everyone in the society is going to be bad, very bad person, people. But we need the few who are good, or majority that are good, to be good to help us sort out this. And the best way to sort, just like the way the Somalis sort the Al-Shabaabs and the rest, is use the locals. Local solutions, local problems. And we are going to do the same. And the best, I have told the communities, and I've told the president, for me and my colleagues who are like the likes of Agana, because we fight all the time, we will fight in boardrooms and avoid fighting
out in community.
Because when you do that, we embolden one another.
It's true.
This community becomes tough. Everyone wants to say, it's my people and all those. We always fight. But at the end of the day, someone must sacrifice and sit and say, I have to be a source of solution.
And you're one of those who sacrifice.
Exactly.
It will be interesting to see over the next period, the things that you've talked about now, opening up of this space, educating folks who've decided that they don't want to get into it, and using the local representatives to pass this message. Maybe we'll see a change.
Yes.
We'd like to call you back to see how that happens. And we'll watch it.
And we are having a supplementary budget, for instance. I sit in that budget.
Yeah.
And I talked to the president through our chair that we need to open up the security roads.
Yes.
And we have actually a budget that we have already allocated to that. And also those schools. In China, how they sorted out their problem is they did as concentrated schools and all those camps and put people there for a while. When you put these children for probably 3 years,
we'll see a difference.
We'll see a difference because they will get food, they will not go back and those and they will not
go back to that.
Is going to be minimized. And
Honorable Florence, Jematiah,
to have a better Kenya.
Indeed.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.